Heyo everybody, and welcome to Update 35 Overclock Tier List. It's been a bit since I've done one of these, and I think we should get started. Before we actually get started with the new overclocks, we need to adjust the old overclocks, because the new guns have changed a lot of things about the old overclocks, kind of where they fall. So, first off, Inferno. It was in side grade, and I'm actually going to upgrade it to B. The reason being for this is that Loki has a mod in T3.1 called Electrochemical Rounds, and Inferno makes it so they can very easily apply fire. Of course, Fire Compound on PGL is also good for this, but this is a Breach Cutter version, which infinitely makes it better because it's Breach Cutter. Next is Electrifying Reload for GK. Electrifying Reload is is moving up one tier. It's basically the neurotoxin payload of Scout. That's it. That's the reason why. And I've played with it a little bit more, and I think it's quite good, honestly. Next one is Fuel Stream Defuser from side grade to OK. The reason being is that sabotage exists, and now that you want range on your flamethrower, it's quite good for bots and things. They're not going to outrun 20 meters, so it's getting a buff because there's one simple mission that it's very good on, and that's enough for Hyperpropellant to be in B, basically. Next is High Voltage Crossover. It's going from side grade to just okay. It's going there because it's the same exact reason for Inferno, because Loki exists with electrochemical rounds. Only Loki can actively activate itself, so activate the electric part. So High Voltage kind of gets into this weird place where it's just okay if you're not taking tier 5-1 on Loki, which is enough for 2 grades up. It's just okay. Next is Micro Flechetts. It's going from F to a side grade. Not really that high of an upgrade. I just think it's not worse than base gun anymore. It's just okay. You get an advantage of having more stun over base gun, but still a longer time to kill, so it's okay. Next is Bullet Hell. It's also going from F to a side grade. Please, you know what? That's fine. Bullet Hell is fine while it has ammo. That's entirely the reason why. It's fine. It's just like AC while it has ammo, only with stun, but it runs out fairly quickly for my taste. It's fun, but it just, runs out of ammo. We already did Cryo Minelets, yeah? Where's Cryo Minelets? Cryo Minelets. Cryo Minelets went from a B to an A, simply because I'm preferring them a lot more to embedded detonators. They give the Scout a lot more utility when entering into a room and dealing with all the threats in the room. And that's that's really why it's getting up to A. You can deal with Brood Nexuses, Spitballers, Wardens, all very easily without actually having to shoot the, hit the dang thing. Spinning Death went from D to okay. Reason I played with it a lot more, and it's definitely still different, but it's just okay. That's all it is. It's not going to be amazing. It's not going to be fantastic. And that is it for the changes to the old overclocks. This is the list. You can zoom in. It goes Minigun, Thunderhead, Bulldog, BRT, Warthog, Stubby, PGL, Breach Cutter, GK, M1, Zukovs, and Gumbo, or excuse me, Boomstick. That's not supposed to be like that, but whatever. Crisper, Cryogun, Sabata, and EPC. In any case, let's get into the new guns and put them where they should. So first off, Aggressive Venting. Aggressive Venting is actually quite good. I'm putting it in B because of what it can do. It's exactly like Aggressive Venting for Gunner, so 55 or somewhere around there. Fire and heat damage in a 5-meter AoE from you, and this does scale with your heat level if you're using manual heat dump. It is quite good. It also has a fear effect on it. If you throw a cryo grenade, you can aggressive venting, and basically all those bugs are now just instantly dead. it's just a general good option for wave clear on Scout, and that's what makes it into a B tier. It's just good in general. Anti-gravity mixture. Anti-gravity mixture makes it so that you can fling the sludge a little bit farther. I think it's just a clean, so it's a clean. It's not that amazing. It also makes it so that they disperse a lot farther, so people like that. There's better things that you can run, but it's a clean, so whatever. Armor Break Module, it's also a clean. It's good with blow-through rounds on Loki, and that's really what I think it's good for. It's just a okay overclock in general. Loki just has a bunch of okay overclocks in general. Disperser Compound, we're putting that in A tier. Disperser Compound lowers something, I forget what it lowers, but it makes it so that you have a lot more puddles to play with, and it covers a lot more area, and that's really good for Sludge Pump. So it's going in A. There you go. Eraser, I just highlighted a bunch of things. Can we actually pick up Eraser? Eraser's also just a clean. I don't think it's going to be any better than that. It just gives more ammo and more mag size, and I believe that's it. Maybe more lock-on. I don't know. It's a clean. I haven't really looked at all these cleans. Executioner. Executioner gives you, when at full locks, it reduces your full locks as well. When at full locks, it gives you a 50% damage bonus when you hit the weak point. That's it. It's quite good. I don't think it's as good as what else you can run, like Explosive Compound, but it's still an A tier because it makes it so you have a lot more ammo efficiency when shooting big boys and all that. It's definitely a weirder overclock and makes it so that it can lock on quicker, and people will like it because of that. It's an A. Explosive Compound. Hey, look, it's the better version. Explosive Compound is wave clear for Loki, surprisingly. Any bug that has 3 or more locks will explode with 50 damage in a 4-meter AoE with a 50% fear as well. This is amazing, because if you shoot at a bug with 3 or more locks, it explodes, and then that potentially makes the other bugs low enough that you don't spend 3 or more bullets. So, and that bug will explode if it dies, if it has 3 or more bullets and you kill it. It's just a fantastic overclock. Just try it out and see how you like it. Fragmentation Missiles. Fragmentation Missiles, so the reason why I'm still putting in clean instead of B or A tier is because Hurricane just doesn't have very interesting overclocks. That's the thing. Hurricane has kind of very shitty overclocks, though. Actually, I'm making sure I can see it, so you just saw that. Anyway, overclock just... Hurricane, I don't know, man. There's a lot of problems with a Hurricane, mostly due to the overclocks themselves. And Fragmentation Missiles is probably going to be my run, what I run mostly, which doesn't make it more than a clean. It doesn't do anything for breakpoints, I don't think. So that's why it will always remain in a clean. Goo Bomber Special. Goo Bomber Special makes it so, and we're also putting in a B, Goo Bomber Special makes it so that you can control where the puddles are going, because it's always going to be in a line. I think this is a double-edged sword. It also makes them stay around a lot more and gives you a lot more. This is a double-edged sword because you have to kind of be adjacent to the swarm and then lead them into that line. And I don't know if I quite like it. I think my personal bias is putting it in B, but most people will probably put it in A just because of what it does. I don't like it that much. You can't shoot at it directly dead on a swarm because it'll only go down one line. So you have to kind of tilt it, which is fine for most people, but I rather it just disperse across the whole swarm. I hit in the middle, and I just don't have to worry about the swarm anymore. Hydrogen Ion Additive. I think this is also going to be put in B tier. It would be A tier if it didn't get nerfed. But Hydrogen Ion Additive is also a different color to all the rest, and I'm wondering why. But in any case, it's quite a decent overclock. It just raises the DPS of your, if you hit the directly. It's just a good overclock in general. It's a clean. What else can you really want from it? Impact Deflection on the Drac is another interesting overclock because it makes it so that you have bouncy plasma. And now you can shoot at the feet of Glyphid whenever you have the AoE mod and get double AoE. So you're doing 10 damage AoE to a bug as well as your normal damage, but that is if you shoot under the Glyphid and it bounces up. It's not that good. You can there's definitely other options, but it's just okay. That's really it. Jet Fuel Homebrew. Jet Fuel Homebrew is another B. It's like a Big Bertha for Hurricane. The problems I have with it is that it's non-hit scan. It's a non-hit scan projectile, and it's a lot worse up close because, you know, it's a non-hit scan projectile and the bugs are moving all around. I think it's an okay overclock. It can one-shot a Glyphid if you take the weak point mod and you hit them in the face. All of a sudden you're doing 60 damage per shot. If you hit the weak point, and it's very good for big boys and all that. It has a lower fire rate than Big Bertha, and it just doesn't feel as good as Big Bertha, which is why it's going into a B and not an A. Next is Manual Guidance Cutoff. It's just clean. Anytime you release the trigger, your guidance cuts off. That's it. It's a clean. Minelayer System. At the current moment, Minelayer System is amazing. It's being put in A until further notice because I think it's going to get nerfed, but it's being put into A. The reason being is because it can two-shot Glyphids if the mine arms, and nitroglycerin compound in Tier 5 actually works with Minelayer, and every time nitroglycerin compound ticks, it gets 2.75 damage, which makes it so you can one-shot a slasher if you take the correct build, because it does 2.75 extra damage whenever the mine arms. It's a very, very good overclock at the current moment. You can take stun on it and just stun bugs. You can take nitroglycerin and one-shot slashers. It is pretty good. It's a pretty good overclock. Next is Neuro-Lasso. I'm just gonna put it in D and not talk about it, okay? Neuro-Lasso is, it's a weird one. If you have a creature locked on, they are slowed down. But that slow is removed as soon as you start firing. It's good if you're training with, Loki and trying to get weak points. It makes it so that your lock-on you can't hold the lock-on infinite. You can't hold the lock-on forever, excuse me. So it's good for training because you need to orient yourself to hit the weak points quickly, and the bug is slowed down. So it's good training wheels for Loki if you're trying to understand the fundamentals of the weapon. Probably its biggest boon is you can get up to a 85% slow on a Dreadnought, which is larger than static or electricity. It's larger, and the Glyphid Dreadnought's not immune to it, so it's very helpful in eliminations. There's better options, but Neuro-Lasso does exist. Overtuned feed mechanism. This is going in B. It is a fire rate increase and does increase your DPS overall for Hurricane, but I don't think any Hurricane overclock is A. Even Salvo, I don't think it's A. It's very, very good, but, like, oh, wait, we have a Minelayer System. Okay, well, yeah, there you go. OPA, Overtuned Particle Accelerator, increases your damage by a lot, your heat generation by a lot, and your spread by a lot. It's a very good overclock. Scout already has a lot of options to go fast, and Overtuned Particle Accelerator wants you to be close, and Scout has the ability to be close and still safely get out without having to dedicate a perk slot to getting out. An Overtuned Particle Accelerator thrives in that environment. You can just melt things. It's a great overclock. Plasma Burster Missiles. I'd put them in D. I meant to put them in A. Or, okay. They're not the best. I would put them in side grade, but I'm just gonna put them in... I have convinced myself to put them in D. They are okay. They do things better than base gun, but they are not that great. If you let every burster do its max amount of damage, it's 90 damage a shot, which is good. It's very good. The problem is it's definitely a playstyle change. You're gonna have to switch up your playstyle to actually use these, and the time to kill is going to go up, which I don't think is very good on big boys or in swarms in general. I don't like this overclock. I don't think it's that good, but I'm putting in D because people have told me it's good, and I'll believe them. At 90 damage a shot, sure. Rewiring. Rewiring is going to go in the okay. It's definitely, there is better options for this, but if you want, you can take the damage mod on this and still have around 1,300 ammo. That simple as that. It's a very good overclock. In fact, I'm actually going to move it up to B. Rewiring mod is just amazing. The problem is anytime you fire, you kind of have to mag dump so that you get those shots back. I think you spend like 42 shots and you get like 30 back or something like that. It's insane how much you get back. It's a very good overclock. Salvo module, that is also going in B. I don't think it's great. It's like a clean. It's basically a clean. I'm actually gonna put it in A tier because this is what everybody's gonna run with Hurricane. You charge up a bunch of missiles up to 9, and you fire them out in almost the same exact spread as what it says. So like the 9 little square, and you get like a +4/+4 damage for each rocket. It's just okay. It's a clean basically, and that's why it's an A. If it had actual negatives, it would be somewhere else. Seeker rounds. Seeker rounds for Loki is just okay. The problem is it lowers your burst, or it lowers your burst rate of fire. That is the entire reason why it's being put in A. Otherwise, it's actually quite good. It ignores armor. It makes it so that if you hit an object on your way to the bug with the line, it'll just teleport and hit the bug automatically. You can now hit weak points with it and all that. It's okay. It's not the best, but it's definitely okay. Shield battery booster. Can we just put this in side grades, Dad? No? Okay. It's okay. Shield battery booster has the issue of, it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing while you have it, and it would be an A while you have it. Any other time, like you take chip damage, it's a drastic gameplay changer. If you take any chip damage, you don't have an overclock anymore, and it just goes into F. But while you have it, it is definitely A, so it balances out to okay. While you have it, it is amazing. While you don't, it's an F tier. Try and get one of your buddies to run Shield Blink for you and overcharge your shields every once in a while. It'll probably be good with that. Otherwise, there's better options available. Sludge Blast. Sludge Blast is also just okay. It's definitely a lot better for single target damage, and you can fire it at a swarm and kill half the swarm, or, you know, a few bugs in there. There's issues with it, and it definitely changes the weapon. It's not relying on a dot anymore. It's not relying on puddles. It's relying on direct damage. And people don't like that, and that's okay. It's okay. That's it. It's basically Driller's option for eliminations if you don't want to take Cryo Cannon. That's perfectly alright. Thermal exhaust feedback for the Drac. It is also being put in A because this thing actually, if you can manage your heat well, and I do not recommend taking I recommend taking the first cooling upgrade, but not the second one. I don't know what tier it is. It's probably in like tier 3 or tier 4 or something like that. I don't recommend taking it, simply because that makes it a lot harder to manage your heat levels. But thermal exhaust vectoring while you are at 50% heat just starts melting bugs. You can 3-shot bugs, you can 2-shot bugs, and sometimes you can even look at them and they instantly die. But it's a fantastic overclock if you can manage your heat well. Hello, welcome to the Thermal Liquid Coolant, another clean. Who cares about it, right? Yeah, okay, who cares about it? Volatile Impact Mixture. Congratulations, you're another side grade. We only added 1 side grade to this. We almost added 2, but I convinced myself not to. Volatile Impact Mixture makes it so that you have a lot more upfront damage if you charge shot or if you direct shot, but you lose out on your dot and puddle duration. And I think, I don't know if it balances out, but it balances out. In my brain hole, it balances out and doesn't make it that good. It's just a side grade. In any case, that is the weapon overclock. for update 35. This is the list. You can stare at it all you want. I'll be making a Reddit post after this video has come out with this, and we can talk about it there. In any case, you all have a wonderful night.